Thanks to Lindsay and Mike. Plenty of coverage continues in the lead up to Super Bowl 60. Let's talk about the Browns. New Browns head coach Todd Monken's arrived in Cleveland. A chat with Shedeur Sanders on his agenda. Take a listen.
How we doing, man? Good. We tried to draft last year. It's all worked out.
Yeah.
You remember that, right?
Yeah, that's what I was about to tell you.
Someday we'll get a chance to talk about that.
All right, so Shedeur made the most of his starts of any Brown quarterback this season, but struggled with the accuracy issues more than Dylan Gabriel and Joe Flacco. 10 interceptions, just 8 combined from the others. However, Sanders went 3-4 as a starter, while Gabriel and Flacco went a combined 2-8. All right, Monken is going to have his work cut out for him, right, with Cleveland's current quarterback situation. Mina, is Monken the right man for the job when you think about all that he's going to have to handle?
Yeah, I mean, look, truth is I don't know if he's going to be a good head coach and all that comes with it. But I can tell you 2 things. One, judging by the fit he wore in that video, this man is all about football. Yeah. And 2, he knows how to call a hell of an offense. I like to mention the offense, like I'm not one to talk with fashion, but I just I want to talk about the offense for a second because I know people point to his success in Baltimore and they'll say, well, he had Lamar Jackson, no doubt. Y'all know I'm as big a fan of Lamar and his impact on defenses as anyone. But I also watched that offense really closely the last 2 years, and you guys, I'm sure, would agree it was incredibly creative. There's a reason why he got so much more out of the passing game than Greg Roman did, quite frankly. I thought in terms of using different personnel groupings, the way he used motion to crack things open for the receivers who are, it's not the best group in the league, and the play-action passing attack were all excellent. I'm excited to see what he does with Harold Fannin Jr., given his success with Andrews and likely in Baltimore. The quarterback, of course, is the huge question here, but if they are going to go young, I do think it is valuable that he had recent success in college. So, again, I'm not saying this was a slam dunk hire. I don't know. But just from purely the perspective of the offense, Todd Monken is very good.
Yeah, I agree with that. Listen, it's going to be tough whoever takes over in Cleveland. This isn't a great offensive roster, especially when you get into the wide receiver room. Harold Fanning Jr., though, to me is an absolute star. Yeah. This is a guy who came out of nowhere to be a big-time player last year. And my mind starts to wonder what happens or how healthy can Quinshon Judkins be when and if he comes back next year. And so what he needs to figure out is how you can add some more playmakers to this offensive side of the football, because there is some young talent. We know one thing about him is he has creativity. He understands how to open up things in the play action, and he's coached at Georgia recently, and then obviously with Lamar Jackson and a run game that we saw in Baltimore that was able to not just utilize Derrick Henry, but we saw him with smaller running backs in the pass game and also in the run be able to create space.
Yeah, Marcus, on the defensive side, the defense has been a bright spot for the Browns. Now Jim Schwartz's future with the team is uncertain. How important is he to the identity and the success of this organization?
You speaking of Jim Schwartz importance? Boogie?
Yes.
Yeah, look, this one performance matters, right? It's been one of the better defenses. It's actually been the only sunshine in Cleveland for a long time. Have won games and kept them in games that they probably shouldn't have been in. I know Jim Schwartz's name was mentioned with potentially becoming the head coach as well. I think the relationship matters, right? And I know that this is probably going to be if he stays, it'll be, well, I could have been the head guy, but I think this is someone you would love to retain if possible, based on who he's worked with, how well they've done on that side of the unit. If they can't, they need to lean into a lot of, whoever the new defensive coordinator is, needs to lean into a lot of what they were already doing. There are obviously Myles Garrett is over there, the best defender in the NFL, but there's a lot of talent around Myles Garrett as well that we probably don't talk about enough, because Myles Garrett just does so many phenomenal things on the field. But when you think about this Cleveland team, and that was my thing when Todd Monken got hired, is now it's head coaching. We know, look, Todd Monken can call plays offensively. Yeah. He has been very, very good at his job, even though I've had some problems with how he's called specific games. But overall, he's done a really good job. I think more now about Cleveland is his head coaching job and delegation and finding the right people to help this organization be better on the field.
I think delegation is important, but there's also just so much to clean up from a perception standpoint with the Cleveland Browns. The way that the young quarterbacks were handled. We've obviously heard Mr. Haslam speaking on behalf of what Andrew Berry and the coaching staffs did in the drafts. What he needs to do is make this as close-knit and tight-knit of an organization where everything is, like Mina said, all about what we do on the football field and create the right culture. Defensively, I felt like they had that, but as an entire unit, that's been lacking for the Cleveland Browns in the last couple of years.
Yeah, he said when he got the job, even he was talking about it this morning, that this was why he came back to the NFL. This was why he left Georgia, which was a really comfortable job for him. They were having a ton of success, but he wanted to be an NFL head coach, and this was the goal. This is an opportunity. I don't think he'll take it lightly, but yeah.
Boogie, you know Todd. Todd is a really good coach.
He is.
He's really relatable.
He's a great leader.
I don't think people know him beyond knowing Todd Monken and the success from an offensive coordinator. He's a relatable guy. Players love playing for him. Like there are great sentiments about him from players that have played for him. Like RC said, though, Cleveland is a juggernaut.
Different.
To try to get righted. And this is going to be a job that he's never been associated with in his life. So it's going to take a lot of work, but he has the right makings to get guys on the right track.
Definitely. A long way to go, so we'll keep track of that. How about this, though, you guys? We had to just get this into the show because away from the Seahawks and Patriots going head-to-head in Super Bowl 60 in Santa Clara. We got you covered with reports from both teams today. Mike Reese with the Patriots. Lindsey Theory is in Seattle. Both quarterbacks a little banged up heading into the Super Bowl. Mike, we start with you. What's the latest on Drake May's shoulder and his health in general?
Laura, Drake May did not practice today, according to head coach Mike Vrabel, due to illness. Vrabel saying that May was here at the facility and did take part in meetings. Now, this comes at the same time that May is managing a right shoulder injury that he sustained in the AFC Championship game. May was a limited participant in practice on Thursday. After that practice, he said he felt like he could get close to 100%, if not 100%. By the time the Super Bowl arrived, he said he didn't think the shoulder would affect his ability to make the throws he needed to make in the game. Now, at the same time, I will tell you, I was at that practice Thursday, and it was a bit unusual to not see May or any of the quarterbacks throwing. We usually see the quarterbacks throwing. The Patriots have had 2 practices this week. They'll have 4 next week in California. All eyes will be on Drake May and how he throws the football. Now, for more on the Seahawks, let's go to Lindsey Theory.
Mike, ahead of his first practice for the Super Bowl, I caught up with quarterback Sam Darnold briefly in the locker room. Darnold's in good spirits and tells me physically he's feeling good. Though when I asked him how much he planned on throwing, he joked 1 or 2 times, not exactly revealing his practice plan. He officially was listed as a limited participant in the workout. I also caught up with running back Kenneth Walker, who tells me their approach to practices right now are similar to those of a bye week, with a lot of mental reps. I asked Walker how this offense is continuing to excel, despite Darnold being limited now for a few weeks. Walker tells me it's because Darnold is still getting those mental reps, that you don't always have to practice to improve, and that the mental work with the attention paid to details and their process is helping the entire offense.